As you can see, I got a lightsaber. Yes, 6 weeks from today, I fly off to Scotland to do a week of sword training with Adrian Paul, the Highlander, in the Highlands of Scotland. And being in the mood, I decided to get something I've wanted for 49 years, a lightsaber. And while we're in the Star Wars mood, let's take a look at this Star Wars comic book, Sergio Aragones' Stomps Star Wars from the year 2000. But first, look at this, a new placemat. I got this from the Frazetta Art Museum. Check out their business card. Pretty nice, right? Of course, after searching so long for a placemat for my YouTube videos and finding one that's actually too big and way too expensive, only a week or two went by till the real one that I would have really wanted goes up for sale. This one fits the screen perfectly, and it is by Frank Frazetta. So we're gonna zoom in a little closer. This comic book is from the creators of Gru the Wanderer, writer Mark Evanier, who was 48 years old when he wrote this, and he's 74 years old now, and artist Sergio Aragones, who was 62 years old when he drew this, and he's 88 years old now. This comic was created when The Phantom Menace came out, and the original trilogy films were being converted to digital, and word was that the film stock was being destroyed, never to be seen again, and that's what the story is about. But while infiltrating Lucasfilm, Sergio somehow finds himself in the movies themselves. And it's very funny. I love it. He gets mistaken for Biggs Darklighter, which is my favorite character. Now, speaking of Star Wars, I just went to go see The Mandalorian and Grogu, which is the 11th Star Wars live-action film that I've seen in the theater. And I took my mom, who took me to see the original Star Wars movie 49 years earlier. And you know what? I liked it. I liked it for what it is. It's not ever going to be what I originally wanted. I wanted a movie about the adventures of a young Boba Fett in his prime, before we got any backstory about Boba Fett from the clone, not the clone, I mean the prequel trilogy, you know, the little kid, the clones, Jango Fett, all that. I don't care for that. I want what was in my mind. But doesn't everybody? And that's not what I'm going to get. So I liked what I got. Now, we saw the movie a week after I went to go see Mortal Kombat 2. And I liked that film as well, but that was a little bittersweet for me because it starred Carl Urban. And if you know my story, that could have been me up there, because Carl Urban and I auditioned for the same part in the Al Pacino film Hangman, and he got it. I didn't. And I like to think that maybe if I did, I would have his career, and I too could have been Johnny Cage up there on the screen in Mortal Kombat 2. Now, tomorrow, I'm going to go see the new Masters of the Universe movie. And speaking of Masters of the Universe, I recently did a video about the mini comics, and I showed in there that we had the Talent Fighter, and I thought maybe it was a model that we had, and then we had the Attack Track as well, and I was wondering, why am I remembering it blue? Well, I got the answers. In 1983, both of those were released by the company Monogram as models, which is what I was remembering. And it reminded me that our Talon Fighter model did not come with Point Dread. Yeah, we did not have the Point Dread part of it. And we also had the Monogram model Attack Track. Now, the Talon Fighter and the Attack Track from Monogram models came out in two different color schemes. And we had the alternate color scheme for the Attack Track, which was mostly blue, which was the colors used in the Filmation cartoon. Mystery solved. But talking about models, Monogram merged with the model company Revell in 1986. But prior to that, when Revell was a separate company, I thought they had made the model of the Skylab space station that I got at the Kennedy Space Center back in the 70s. But I could find no evidence of that model ever existing. And so when I tried to get it again, this is all I could find, this tiny little thing. And that just is not what I had. And when I went to the Space Center again a couple years ago, this was the only Skylab merchandise they had. They had one in the whole place. They said nobody ever looks for Skylab stuff. And I was like, well, I'm here, I'm going to get it. And you know what? I was wrong. My memory was wrong. I didn't have Skylab. I had the Revell model of the Apollo Soyuz spacecrafts. So it wasn't the Skylab space station. It was the Apollo craft right there, docked with the Soyuz Russian spacecraft. So it was very similar, had the antennas here and what have you, and it was bigger, and that's what I had, and I may just have to track one of those sets down. There's a bunch on eBay, and my brother had the Apollo Saturn V rocket, which launched the Apollo little spacecraft here. Those are on eBay as well, and I may just get both sets, and I don't know. We'll see. And just a few other things I showed in a very recent video, my Elric action figure, which came with this little bonus sword, and I couldn't read what it said. Well, it turns out this is Excalibur, and it says, "Take me up, cast me away." There you go. And even though I mentioned it in the video, I didn't find this until later. This was hidden in the box. This is the trading card that came with it. Let's take a look at what trading card I got. Hopefully I don't destroy it trying to open it. Oh, I should have brought some scissors. I got a bad feeling about this. Let me get some scissors. Actually, it's my pair of snips that I used when I was a lineman for the phone company. And yes, we held them weird, just like this. This is normal. All right, it's the moment of truth. The winner takes all. Savage Crucible. The Ariok Shield. I'm sorry, the symbol of chaos. Okay, what is it gonna be? Bam! Oh, good God. It's not even a picture. I guess that's the picture. Boy, the ones online look better. I got a sucky one. Well, I don't care about trading cards. Get this out of my face. But while I'm on the subject of jobs, of course, my job now is nuclear medicine technologist. And one of the tests we do is watching radioactive eggs travel through the stomach and into the small intestine. Now, when I was a kid, I used to make omelets all the time. And then my friend Mike said, "Have you ever seen a double yolk?" And I was like, "No, what's that?" And he goes, "It's like twin babies in the egg that, of course, do not hatch as chickens. They're still the yolk. You cracked open the egg, you got two yolks in it." I was like, "Really? That's a thing?" And I had cracked open a billion eggs at that point. Never saw one. The very next day, I don't know how this happened. I cracked open my egg for my omelet, and there was a double yolk in there. I'm not lying. This actually happened. It was the very next day after Mike told me that. Well, here at work, I'm telling my coworker this story as I'm cracking open the egg for the patient, and out comes a double yolk. Yes, look at it here. Okay, so I only feed the patient the egg white. I pour the egg white into the bowl, and that's what I cook up and make radioactive. I throw the yolks in the garbage. So I threw the shell in the garbage. Both yolks are in it. Took a picture of it. That's what you're looking at here. Double yolk in the shell, in the garbage. Ta-da! Okay, two final things. This YouTube channel started off 10 years ago with documentaries on G.I. Joe, and my first and favorite G.I. Joe toy was Grand Slam with the Hal. Well, now the image has been released of the upcoming classified series, 6-inch tall Grand Slam, and he's coming with a giant Hal. I have to get this. I have no room for it, but I have to get this. And last but not least, I turned 18 years old 34 years ago. I've never registered to vote until last weekend. I am now a registered voter. Look at that. So I'm going to vote in the midterms, and I hope you do too. See you next time.